Alright guys, what's up? This is Ryan from Elevate Security, and now in this video I wanted to take a moment to just make a dedicated video to a topic that, if you've been watching my live streams recently, I've been talking about it, and I think in a few of the other regular videos I've mentioned this as well. And it's the concept of fully automating as much as possible your hacking, your pen testing. And there's just so many benefits to this that I think pretty much anyone and everyone should incorporate some sort of automation. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. So, for a lot of you guys, you are going for OSCP, right? Or at least you have a passing interest in that. And ultimately, I'm going to assume that you also have an interest in perhaps working in the field of offensive security and kind of doing this stuff for a living, right? So there's just numerous benefits to automating as much as you can, right? So if we first take the scenario of OSCP, there's a lot of things that we do that is very repetitive, right? Like we run our Nmap scans on all of the boxes, and then based off of what ports are open, there's a next layer of enumeration that we do. We run the same commands every time. Like, for example, if you see that there is SMB open, you might try to connect to the share. You might use SMB client, SMB map, etc. Try to see if you can get a null session, or once you have access, sift through that information running the same commands over and over, right? That's just one example. If you find some web servers, then you're going to want to run a GoBuster, DirtBuster, whatever on it to look for the, try to brute force some subdirectories. All this stuff is very predictable and very repetitive, but it's something that would normally require you to spend some of your mental RAM, spend some of your time certainly typing up the commands and stuff like that. And that's just inefficiently used time, kind of wasted time, if you will. When you're brand new to hacking and pen testing, okay, maybe there's some benefit in typing these things up, but if you've done it for any amount of time at all, you're better off just automating the things that you can automate like this, right? So you shouldn't even be spending time, and that's going to free up your mind to focus on things that are more pressing, and you'll have more mental RAM to spend on things that, quite honestly, deserve your thought and your energy, right? So on OSCP, this can be extremely valuable. I know I've mentioned this in a bunch of my other videos, but even though you have 24 hours on the exam, it's not as long as you think it is. Like, it goes by faster than you would think, and a good portion of that will be spent, if you don't automate your tools, doing all this stuff manually. So at a bare minimum, at least try to automate your really common recon as much as possible. That's going to help a lot on the exam. But now let's also take that second scenario of, you're hired on as a pen tester, you're doing this stuff for a living, right? You would greatly be benefiting yourself by having some kind of automation in place, because that's going to allow you to get all of the recon stuff out of the way while you put your time, your effort, your energy towards the more difficult challenges that arise in that pen test. Maybe something that's a technology that you're not as familiar with, right? You don't have any automation built for that. Okay, you can focus in on that area manually while your automated tooling is doing all the other heavy lifting for you. So it basically allows you to be in multiple places at once, essentially doing multiple things at once, And especially on a lot of these engagements, it really depends. Like, sometimes you don't have much time, or as much time as you would like. You pretty much always don't have as much time as you would like, right? Because with infinite time, we could hack anything pretty much. But time is always a limited resource. So by having solid automation tooling in place, it essentially allows you to be able to do more simultaneously. And so, yeah, you're going to be a lot more successful even on the job if you have some decent automation tooling in place. So one of the things that I have as a goal with the next attempt at the OSCP is to really build out at least like a minimum viable product of automation tooling that I can use in order to, which I would tailor that to the OSCP kind of. But yeah, that's something I can start building now with Hack the Box and just trying to automate a lot of the monotonous stuff. I mean, they even say in the lab guide of the OSCP, they talk about the importance of automation. And I think a lot of people overlook that because technically, a lot of people ask the question, how much coding, how much programming do I need for OSCP? Well, technically you don't need to have a ton of it, but the more that you have, the more you can call upon, and that can be one of your secret weapons, right? That could be something that you really utilize to your advantage. So just because you don't have to learn, you don't have to automate stuff, technically, I mean, think about how much easier. You're basically buying yourself free time by automating stuff. So I think the best place to start, if this sounds appealing to you, I would say the best place to start is, like I was saying, automate your Nmap scans, your GoBuster, brute forces, and then the next layer would be, okay, once you have this initial recon, build in some logic into your tooling to say, if you see these ports open, go ahead and run this enumeration. If you see these ports open, run this enumeration, right? And save it to this file or whatever, right? And then so over time, you can keep adding and adding and adding. We talk a lot about the compound effect on this channel. And when it comes to building your automation tooling, it's very much the same thing, right? When you start in the beginning, you're basically starting from zero. You don't have anything. You haven't tested anything, but over time you build it piece by piece, right? At first your tooling is going to be very elementary and not very smart, and it's not going to be very efficient or optimized or anything like that, right? But as time goes on, you keep adding to it, you add more functionality to it. Now it can do more things. You build some more and more logic into it. Now it's smarter and can make better dynamic decisions, and then you field test it more and more, and then you have yourself a minimum viable product, and then you can refine it from there, of course, and keep repeating the process. But yeah, one last thing I will say in closing as a kind of bonus is, if you have really solid if you have very solid automation, and this is why I titled this video hacking while you sleep, right? There's people that are making $100,000 a year, or even more in some cases, off of bug bounties because they have really good automation. There's people in the bug bounty space that they've refined their tooling so well that they're literally making money finding vulnerabilities in this space while they're sleeping, right? And their automation is alerting them, okay, check this area out, or maybe even, they might even have some people probably have automation up to the point where it's going to actually go ahead and try some payloads and alert them if it gets any hits, right? So, I mean, basically what this is to say is the ceiling for this is insanely high. You can just start out and just have very bare bones, like, okay, you automated Nmap, you automated, GoBuster, whatever, and you can get a lot of value out of that. But at the same time, the ceiling for this stuff is ridiculous. So if you want to just really, really get into this and really just keep going with it and keep running with it, you could even make side income off of bug bounties and stuff like that. So it's really like, how far do you want to go with this, right? But there's pretty much no downside to automating this stuff, and there's a ton of upside is the basic point that I wanted to make here. And so yeah, if you guys been enjoying this content so far, be sure to like and subscribe for more similar content. And if you have any questions, as always, let me know down in the section below, and I will see you guys in the next video.